We saw Alex and Terrence at least out here. Alex doing a little bit. Do you have an update on both of those guys?
Terrence is fine.
I mean, sorry, I meant Corey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is still in the concussion protocol, so this is part of the process with it. He can, go into, doing physical activity, and then they'll give him some time to see how he responds to that. Corey did not practice today. He did some light work, so he's still dealing with a sprained knee.
Billy, you often talk about Terrence, specifically like how good his footwork is. Has he used that to improve, specifically like guarding off the ball lately? Is that one of the reasons why he's been better there?
Well, I think also the experience of playing in games and getting more and more comfortable with the speed and the pace of the game, getting familiar with different kind of actions. I think that probably has helped him see what's getting ready to come, what's getting ready to happen. I think guys like Terrence, who are hard workers and they're smart and they're bright, the more experience they gain, I think generally they get better there defensively.
When you're scouting Donovan Mitchell, what are the big things that stand out? Because, he is a rookie, but is there anything in particular that just makes you say this guy doesn't play like a rookie at all?
We're highly competitive, a guy that, plays really, really hard, an aggressive guy that's come in and obviously had a terrific rookie year. But I would say just his mental approach, his aggressiveness, those things.
Is there at all any sort of different kind of approach from your end? With last year, you guys were one of the youngest teams in the league going into the postseason. Now you're one of the older teams in the postseason. Do you handle that at all differently? Like, do you not focus as much on routine, postseason routine stuff, and leave that more to the players?
You have to go in and prepare. With the season coming to an end, and then us playing on Sunday, it gives us an extra day, for preparation. So you try to balance out, how you want to go through your preparation, and then how, the things that you've got to work on yourself to get better, coupled with, trying to prepare for your opponent. But nothing's really, so to speak, changed for us that we're not doing anything different. Our guys have done a good job, I think, all year of, trying to focus in on, the things that we need to do to be effective.
Melo was just talking about his approach. One of the things he said is different in the playoffs is that you can watch film in the regular season, but when you're going to play a team a bunch of times, you can focus in on maybe some intricacies, some tendencies that one guy might have against you defensively. And I don't want to ask you if he's more cerebral than you thought, but I just wonder if what you think of his approach to the game in terms of the way he studies and.
Melo's really, really bright. He's really smart. He's got a great feel for the game. He's obviously going to go down as one of the greatest scorers to ever play the game. But I think one of the most underrated attributes of his is his ability to pass, and he's got a real good feel and understanding of how to play. And I also think he's a guy that, in film sessions and even in preparation and things like that, he pays attention. He really, it's just amazing even being around him, and even Nick Collison, who's been in the league for a long period of time. Their ability to take a different kind of approach rather than taking the approach, well, I know, I've been around for a long time, but those two guys are always trying to find ways to learn different things and find out new things, and they pay attention, they concentrate, they ask questions.
He's been a really good playoff player. He's got really good playoff numbers in his career, but obviously he hasn't been in 5 years, so he's a very different guy than the last time he played in the playoffs.
Right.
How do you see him approaching this, or how do you expect him to?
I think Carmelo's always been about winning and trying to help our team in whatever way he can help our team be successful. And he's done a lot of different things, I think, this year to do that. He's been really vocal and verbal on the court. He's been, I think, really good with some of the younger players, communicating with them. I think he also has got a great presence and a confidence about him that I think permeates through our team. I think there's just a lot of different things that intangibly that you maybe can't actually measure, but it's there and it's positive.
Billy, how do you make
the argue that Corey or Alex or both would be available on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know that yet. We'll have to get closer to that. I don't want to speculate either way. Like I said earlier, one's got a sprained knee, the other one's in concussion protocol. So, every day we'll find out a little bit more.
How do you make Gobert uncomfortable when he's trying to defend under the rim? How do you make that process a little bit easier for you guys?
Well, I think anytime a team defensively, however they're going to play, they're going to play. They're obviously a terrific defensive team, and they're going to do what they are going to do. I don't know if you necessarily are going to make Gobert do anything that he hasn't maybe done in the past, and what's made him obviously a really good rim protector. So, we've got to on offense make good decisions.
They
You have to
drop
have
him.
Sorry, go ahead.
They drop him and pick and rolls a lot. Is there any sort of concern that you become too reliant on long twos because of the way that they defend, just their schemes?
Well, I think everybody's trying to do that as a team. Everybody's trying to take away layups and fouls and deep paint shots, and everybody's trying to guard the three-point line and take teams out of rhythm shooting the basketball. And everybody would like to have everything funneled into non-paint twos and contested jump shots. I don't think that that's necessarily new. I think everybody in the league is trying to do that.
Has the result been perseverance on offense and a willingness to really execute deep into the clock going to be important for you all in this series?
Well, I think listen, in any situation, you want to take care of the basketball and you want to generate good shots. That's what you want to do. Every night you want to be able to do that. They're obviously a very, very good defensive team, and they're a very, very good offensive team. So you want to be, efficient and effective and generate good shots on offense, and then, defensively, you've got to do a really, really good job of staying the course, of being able to guard for 24 seconds.
Billy, this is a series obviously against a couple of smaller market franchises in the NBA. You being a guy who's watched a lot of basketball over the years, what just historically comes to mind for you as it relates to the Jazz? I mean, they had a streak of 20 consecutive playoff appearances at one point, one of the best ever in the league. What sort of pops to mind for you when you think about that franchise?
Well, I got drafted by them, so that's the first thing that pops out. Obviously that didn't last too long. But being there and getting drafted, I think Stockton was maybe in his third year at that point in time, and he was coming off the bench and he was backing up Ricky Green. And I always just remembered the amount of time that he spent with me, during training camp, even in the summer, how gracious he was to me in terms of trying to help me as a player. Obviously, they had some really, really good teams, so being there, I kind of, followed Stockton and Malone and the guys that they had there. And then obviously the run that they made, deep in the playoffs for so many years. And then obviously the great game against Chicago, that series, and the shot that Jordan made. But the short period of time I was there and the people I got a chance to know, they were first class.
You now having the experience you have in this position, when you see a run of 20 straight, do you appreciate that even differently now, knowing how hard it is year to year to get into the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I think any time you're trying to do something, I think every person is striving for a level of consistency, and I think when you do something consistently at a high level for a long period of time, to me that always stands the test of time. And there's going to be ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and maybe some years better than the others, but when you can consistently stay at that level for a long period of time, I think that's really impressive.
If you're not able to get your injured guys back, obviously more responsibility for Terrence. What do you see that tells you that Terrence, as young as he is ready for this moment?
Well, 82 games I think has helped him. He's obviously been able to be in the rotation. I think that was really important during the year. There was some times he was out of the rotation, but he's been able to get back in the rotation. He's done a really good job keeping himself ready and focused. Obviously the playoffs is new for him. This is the first time he's going through it, but I've said this before, I got a lot of confidence in Terrence just because of his competitiveness, how hard he works, and he's a bright guy and will put forth a great effort getting himself prepared and ready to play.
Would you start him if Corey or Alex can't go?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sit there and say who I would start or who I wouldn't start if that's the case, but certainly Terrence has started some games for us, so it's not something that we haven't done in the past.
Billy, we've said since you put this roster together that you're built for the playoffs. Now that you're here, do you think that holds true? And if so, why is it true?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if we are or we're not. I think when you get to the playoffs, you're dealing with 8 really, really good teams in the East and 8 really, really good teams in the West, and you got to be playing really, really good basketball. And you got to play consistent basketball. So, I think you want to be a team playing well going into the playoffs. I think the last 3 or 4 games that we've played, we've made some strides and we've gotten better. But I never looked at it of what necessarily a team's built for, because you could sit there and say a team's built for the playoffs. You got to get to the playoffs, and certainly for us, last week it was maybe up in the air whether or not we were going to make the playoffs. So I always feel like you want to be playing good basketball as a team and focus on that going into a series.
I think the theory was the roster as it was constructed was really good with defensive flexibility. You lost a little of that with Andre, but offensively, defenses sort of tightened down
Yep.
in the playoffs. You got 3 guys, 4 counting Raymond, that you can just throw them the ball with 8 seconds left in the clock and say do something, and you might get something done.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the playoffs go, you know, the game slows down some. Teams are really conscientious about getting back in transition. You know, you're always trying to find ways to kind of carve out a way to get some easy baskets, whether it's on offensive rebounds, free throws, backdoor cut. But then also sometimes against the clock, you need guys that can generate offense for your team, and need guys that can make a play and make a shot or make a play for somebody else. You know, and you want to be able to have those things. And I think to your point, you know, Carmelo's done that for a long time in his career. Russell, you know, is a great attacking guard, and Paul's really good off the dribble. And I think Raymond in the second unit has done a nice job. So, you know, inevitably at some point in time, as teams go through a series and they play each other, you get more and more familiar with each other, and it's really, really hard, you know, to generate easy baskets. And sometimes, like I said, you need a player to create a play for you.
What makes them so effective with the way they use screens? Why are they so good at that?
They screen.
I mean, no, a lot. There are teams that screen. I mean, like Gobert is an excellent.
No, they
screen setter. What
they
makes him so good at it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he goes in there and, you know, hits the defensive player.